Hey everybody, it's Cheryl, lead Off Leash K9 Training. Welcome to my live Tuesday night Q&A where I can answer some of your dog related behavior questions or any questions if you may have them. And if you saw my daughter earlier, she plays classical guitar. So she was sitting around on the couch while I was getting my computer out and thought I'd tempt you all by putting her on there. So if you watched that, thanks. If not, go back and check it out. She's pretty darn good. Anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my upcoming travels this summer. Super excited. I am taking a couple of many weeks off. I'm really looking forward to it. My daughter, I usually tell clients here in Durango's pretty small, and I say, well, if they want me for boarding for school holidays or school vacations, I'm not the boarder because I'm usually off with my daughter and my husband on some fun adventure somewhere. So come, I guess, May 28th, we'll be taking off and on the road for many, many weeks. We have a really cool little pop-up camper that sits in the back of our Toyota Tacoma. We're going to put that on and probably head maybe to Oregon. Thinking about that. We have some plans here around Colorado. Then 4th of July time, we will be on Lake Michigan near a little town called Anekama with some family, and I'm going to go to Ohio and visit family, and maybe California, do some backpacking, lots of car time with the dog and the family, something that I totally love. Actually, at one point in my life, I thought when I was maybe 18 or 17, I thought I could be a truck driver. That's pretty cool. They have their bed in the back of their cab and they can just drive around, and I like that idea. And to be honest, I actually lived out of my car by choice, out of my truck, for about 9 years while I worked for Outward Bound in my kind of mid-20s to mid-30s, some of the best years of my life where I made like $8,000 a year and had a blast. Anyway, enough about that. But just to let you know that my Q&As are going to be on the road after next Tuesday. That'll be my last one here at home. And then it just might be sort of Tuesdays with Tioga, random. Who knows what'll be happening. And I'm hoping to do a lot of live stuff while I'm gone because I won't be working with dogs. I'm excited to have a break from that. I love working with dogs, but I'm also excited to just spend time with my family and my husband's work. He's an adventure photographer. If you have any interest in that, his name is Kenan Harvey, Kennan Harvey, HARVEY.com. You can check out some of his work. But in the summer and on our breaks from school, we usually get out as a family and do some work with him. So totally looking forward to that coming up at the end of May. All right, but what we're doing here now is our regular Tuesday Q&A. Let's see what we got. All right, I try to keep these to about 30 minutes because it's late. I got things to do, you got things to do. So we're gonna keep on going. All righty. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble. Okay, here it is. And if you notice during my daughter's playing the guitar, you could see out the window earlier and it was still light. I love that time of the year. All right, so if you're just joining in, it's Cheryl with Lead Off Leash K9 Training. It's my Tuesday night Q&A, and I'm going to dive right in at this point to answer some questions. All right, this came from Jamie. She said, what's your go-to solution for coprophagy? Oh yeah, coprophagy. That is when a dog eats feces. I'm guessing it's a combination of e-collar correction, environmental management, and changing the diet. If it's diet related, what percent levels do you look for in appropriate protein, fat, etc.? I'm asking because I've met a few cases where management still plays a large role, and I'm always interested in hearing what else works to treat the cause. Good luck. I bet he'll train up nicely. And we are specifically talking about new guy Reggie, the little Boston Terrier. If you have seen my videos the last day or two, he just came yesterday, and he definitely eats poop. I haven't seen him eat poop yet because I've been watching him, but he eats poop. And coprophagy is feces eating. Ew. Yuck. Oh. So what I am doing with this guy is after watching him for a day and a half, he doesn't poop and go right around to try to eat it. I've seen him walk by other dogs poop. I've seen him a little bit around some pretty fresh horse poop up on our trails. And he's not that interested because there's other kind of exciting things going on in the environment. So I think it's just for this guy, it's probably a boredom thing that he had been doing. And if he does, which he probably will at some point when he's comfortable with me and less new to the environment that we're in, he might start to get bored again and see some poop when we're out walking and go for it. And I will use the e-collar. I will correct him at a higher level. I haven't found out what his level is yet. That's something I'm going to do tomorrow. Somebody asked me about finding e-collar stuff, and I'm going to start that tomorrow with him. So if you're interested in how do I start out a dog on an e-collar, you should tune in to my videos tomorrow with Reggie, and you'll get to watch that process. However, once he is on it, I'm going to find a high-ish number. I'm not going to go to 100, but we'll see where we're at. It might be a 20, it might be a 50, where when he starts to eat poop, I don't even say anything. I just give it a little, push this little red button for just a half a second, maybe a second, and it startles him out of it and he moves on. That's what I do for all dogs. And so at some point along the way, they just stop eating poop. They just stop eating poop. And if they don't, I will start proceeding with a nope and then a tap, and then my nope helps them along the way also. So with this guy, it's going to be all about the e-collar. It's because I have seen him out there. He doesn't seem that interested in eating poop. He has good dog food. I know that. I kind of checked into it. I'm not worried about his percentage levels going on there. With this guy, it's mostly just, I'm kind of bored. That looks yummy. I think I'm going to eat it. I mean, most dogs eat, hi Paige, most dogs will eat, I love the hand wave. Most dogs will eat poop. Cat poop. My dog is a human poop eater. I do a lot of backpacking and I get so mad at people that can't bury their own stuff because he goes for it. It's really a drag. But most dogs will eat horse poop, cat poop, human poop if it's around. It's not that uncommon. To eat their own poop is a little more questionable. But like I said, this guy, Reggie, he's just bored and he's eating poop. And I'm going to use the e-collar to give him a pretty, medium to high correction on anytime. Here's the poop. He goes for it. Mouth opens. I give him a zap. He's going to walk away from it. So that's how I'm going to handle that one with this guy. I hope that helps, Jamie. Let's see. Another question. Sorry, looking. My name is Taylor. I adopted a blue pit bull almost a year ago. He suffers from isolation anxiety when he is in a crate. To give you a bit on his background, he was found in an abandoned building in a small crate with no food or water with 3 of his brothers. He was rescued by Players for Pits, and a week later I adopted him. I took him to, I'm not going to say the name, I took him to another boarding training place where we did the basic obedience package, sit, stay, down, stay, place, heel. He's great except for the isolation anxiety when I leave the house. We have been doing a lot of obedience work lately, incorporating the crate into it. He's totally fine in his crate when I am in the house, but once he sees me leave it, it is game over. He barks, cries, and howls. I have a Nest camera set up so I can watch him while I'm gone. I've watched your videos on separation anxiety. Do you remember? Oh, here we go. I noticed in one of them you use the e-collar to correct the dog. Do you recommend using the e-collar for that? I have seen mixed reviews on it. He has had the e-collar for a year and is completely adjusted to it. I'm curious, Taylor, what kind of e-collar it is. Just curious if it's a higher level one, meaning it might have 0 to 100 levels on it, or if it's a lower end that might just have 7 levels. And I'm also wondering, as I think Paige, I think it was you, Paige, that talked about fit on the e-collar, which is something that should always be brought up. Make sure that the e-collar is fitting well on your dog. But I would use the e-collar, yes. If he's on an e-collar, I'll link it up here again, but I linked it last week. There's a great video out there by Michelle Stegmeyer and she is at the Indiana K9 Learning Center. I think it's IKLC, and it's on Facebook, Indiana K9 Learning Center. And she has a great video that I will link to here that shows you how to use an e-collar to help settle a dog. It's awesome. You put the e-collar on, you start tapping it. I've been working on this little girl over here, Rosie, with it, because she is 6 months old. She's kind of frantic, and I start tapping on it. She doesn't know. I just started e-collar training her today, but up until today, I was just putting it on and give her stimulation. So she's like, what's this? And it made her kind of just settle. And then as soon as she laid down and settled, I stopped tapping on the e-collar at a pretty low number. So I will put a link onto this, Taylor, this video that I'm talking about from Michelle. Check it out, watch it. I do like using e-collars to help a dog settle in their crate. I've had a case where it didn't quite work, and I went back to using a bunker and banging on the crate. So I'd leave the house, I'd stand outside, listen. I heard some whining. I'd open the door and yell, "Nope," pretty loud, walk in, bang on that crate, and walk back out. So literally it was like, "Nope." And I was out the door again. So the dog did that sort of a thing, and the dog startled out of it. And I did that maybe 3 times because the e-collar thing wasn't working as well, and that did it. She's been much more calm in the kennel. This was a couple weeks ago, and it kind of worked like a charm. But use the e-collar first. Watch Michelle's video that I'll post here and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, let me know, because I'll offer you other ideas. You know, every dog is so different, and you got to find what works. Just like people, we're all so different. You just got to find what works. Hey, Joel. You're Joelle. Oh, it's Joelle. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. All right. Next question. This is from Michelle Vander Millan, and it's kind of a long one. I'm not gonna. Thank you for your videos. They've helped. However, we are having a lot of problems with crating him. He panics and will not settle no matter how long or how many times I correct him. This morning, I went through half an hour of training, sitting, place, on a mat, and duration, then put him in the crate. For over 45 minutes, he barked, howled, scratched, and went crazy, all while I continued to bang the crate and say no. He finally got to a point of just whimpering and then left to run a quick errand, 30 minutes max, and I came home to a destroyed crate. Woo! And he had gone to the bathroom in the crate and smeared it everywhere. When he is not crated, he does fine. Even when he is confined to a small room, he is fine. Not crating him is not an option, as I work 1, sometimes 2 days a week. Background on Boomer. He is a year-old rescue. So the other dog talked about rescue too. I mean, I kind of like to leave that behind and just move forward. I mean, I always say, oh, where's the dog from? I kind of want to know. But then I always say, but it doesn't really matter, because we need to look forward from now on, which that's not what Michelle's trying to say here. She just wants to know what to do. And now this is different from what I was just saying to Taylor, is Michelle, you should get an e-collar. Wait. And she did say she got an e-collar. So I'm going to show her how to put the e-collar on and use it tonight, because that's something we were talking about back and forth in our emails to each other. But if you're not to this place where you've purchased an e-collar and this is the dog you have, get an e-collar. Get a good one. E-collar Technologies, Dogtra, get a good one. Don't get one from PetSafe, not to bash those, but I'm kind of bashing them. Sorry. Get one that's 0 to 100 where you can do lots of low-level stuff. Watch the video from Michelle that I will mark, put on here again. Mandy's back. We're talking about the same darn video, because a lot of separation anxiety issues out there. Hey, Mandy. So we're going to put that back on here, and I'm going to make one of these next time I get a dog that's suffering like this, because so many people need to see this, how to use an e-collar to help settle a dog. Mandy, didn't you do this? And if you did, how did it go? Maybe you can put something up there in the comment section and let us know how it went for you and your experience. But get an e-collar, Michelle, which I know you already have. Mandy, which I know you already have. So then she had said, I just received my e-collar mini educator today. Now I just need to figure out how to use it. I really hope this works. So I was going to show her how I show my clients. Hang on. Coming back now, what I do with clients and how I use these. So here's the brand I use, the Mini Educator by eCollar Technologies. This hasn't been out of the box, brand spanking new, super awesome company. Highly recommend them because if you ever have any issues, they are going to be on it and respond quickly to you. Little booklet. And by the way, if you are ever looking to use an e-collar and you have listened to what I'm about to say and want to know more about it, I will personally send you, if you message me, I will send you the how-to document or PDF that I send to clients. Because I don't use it exactly the way they describe it. There's also a list of different things. There you go. Different things that you can get from them because they have all kinds of accessories and upgrades, yada, yada, yada. So here is the e-collar, the receiver, and here is the transmitter, the remote, and the receiver. Also in the box comes these little handy dandy 2 packages. I always tell people don't lose them, put them in your junk drawer. These little guys are extra stimulation points. So Michelle, hopefully you're watching this. These are the stimulation points, right? These things. And these ones are a little bit longer. They also have some breeds of dogs, usually kind of the white, pink skin dogs, little pitties, and just more white, pink skin dogs. They will have an allergic reaction to this tip there. This is made out of nickel. And if you think your dog's being burned, they're not. They're having an allergic reaction to the very tip on here, which has nickel in it. And so this company, eCollar Technologies, has all kinds of different stimulation points. They have titanium, hypoallergenic. So if you ever have an issue with that, just call them and they'll sort it out for you. The other bit in here is this little thing, which helps you know when or if your e-collar isn't working, which I'll show you really briefly here. So you can watch this little, I'm holding it with my 2 fingers. You're going to see it. I'm holding down this button and you're going to see this light. Wait, let me do it this way. You see how it's brighter up there between my 2 fingers? And then it dims as I roll up on this. Oops. And it goes down. So don't lose this. This helps you troubleshoot if you think the stimulation's not happening in the e-collar. And then the other bit is this little doohickey, which is how you take off the stim points. You know, you loosen it, which I'm not going to take it all the way off, and then you put it back on to tighten it. So if you have a long-haired dog, you're going to want to use these longer stimulation points. I'm not going to take it all out because I don't want to waste the time to do that right now. But see how they're a little bit longer? You would use these. If you have a dog that's getting a reaction on their skin, like almost like a cold sore or something, then call the company and get different stimulation points. But this little stuff here, the troubleshooter, like what is this? This little light, this doohickey to take off the things, the stim points, and then the extra stim points that come. I always say to clients, put this little baggie with all those things in it in a junk drawer. Don't lose it. All right. The other thing in the box, the last thing, well, there's a warranty card, which I'm not going to talk about. There's the charger with the split. So you can charge both things. I usually charge e-collars at night, right before I go to bed, and take them off or take it out or unplug it is what I'm trying to say in the morning. And I'll tell you more about how to know when it's not working anymore. So that's what's in the box. Don't be afraid of it. I have some clients that are far away, or just friends far away, that are getting e-collars, and they've ordered the e-collar, but it's just sitting kind of on their kitchen counter because they're afraid to do it. So there's some people out there, Anne, Santa Fe Anne, you can be remembering this, and anybody else out there. So now we're going to get back to the remote, the transmitter, and the receiver. And in a nutshell, this is what I'm telling my clients, just like we've done here. Everything in the box, and then these 2 things. So how to turn on the receiver. There's a little, right, this little round hole there. It's kind of red. And you take this other, I shouldn't have used red. I'm going to grab this yellow one. You take that, see that other little red dot right there? And you would match it to the red dot on the receiver. And it will go red, which I don't think you could see. This is tricky here, people. Really tricky because I'm trying to let you see it, but I got to see it too. Here, let's go. We're going to go like this. You match them up and it goes green. You match it up and it goes red. So now this is off. And when I match it up again, well, I can't see it. Holy moly, it goes green and it's back on. So that's how you turn the receiver on. That's the only way to turn it on. That's the on and off for the receiver. The other part about the receiver is down here is this little rubbery port. That's where you charge from. So back to the charger, there's a split with two ends. You put one of those in this little hole. These things are totally waterproof. My dog has been on river trips in the San Juan River and has worn this thing for hours on end in the river. However, if you don't get this little thing closed all the way, this little rubber gasket right there at the charging point, it's not waterproof. So make sure you get that done. All right, so we talked about the on and off. We talked about the charging port. And then this light here, see how it's flashing green? There it goes, green. It'll start flashing yellow when it's dying, and then it'll go to red when it's pretty much dead. So that's how to tell how much charge is left in your receiver. The other thing is when it's flashing, you know it's on. If I hold this button on the transmitter down, you're going to see. Oops, it's at a 0. That's why it's not working. If I hold this down, you'll see this light up as well, and this will be on for 10 seconds or until I take my fingers off of it. But I'm going to keep holding, maybe 3. Oh, there it went off. Or I can tap it. So when I press this down, you can watch my finger, press, light goes on, light goes on, light goes on. Okay, so that's when you know you're giving stimulation. Pretty simple. Now, the other bit is there's a light. So if you ever go camping with your dogs, super fun. Check this out. I'm gonna tap this back button, tap. Now you get this, oh, sorry, that was probably a little bright. Sorry. It's like a cop's in your rear view mirror. If I hold it on, then it'll be like a light. I call this strobe light, and then just a flashlight, and then off. That's another cool feature about this. So I go camping a lot, and I don't have a fenced yard, and so I let my dog out, and if I am ever in the night, like, where's Tioga? I can turn the light on and find him. And one time the collar fell off. He came back in the house and I was like, oh no, where's the collar? And I went inside and turned it on and I could see it out in the yard. It was awesome. But I love that flashlight option. I love it, love it, love it. So super cool thing. If you're walking in the morning, I have a friend who goes walking early morning and she uses that light all the time. So pretty much that's it with the receiver. Your on-off light, your charging port, and then, the on-off like switch, the charging port, and then this light here that tells you if it's stimulating and also if it's charged. I put this on, it needs to be really tight. I'm gonna actually put it on me and show you what I mean. So if it's loose and dangling, then what could happen? I tell this to clients, I'm not gonna totally do it up, but if it's just like, oh, I don't wanna put it so tight, it doesn't need to be so tight, and here's the dog walking around, and you're saying come, and it knows what it means, and you're rolling up and tapping it at really high numbers, and now you're at like an 80, and your dog has kind of changed position, and now it's at an 80, and it's making contact, and you light your dog up, No, you got to keep it tight so that these contact points are making these stim points are making contact with your dog. And I usually end up threading it through these things and then cutting off somewhere over here so it's not so long. But you want it to be making contact. If you have a really long-haired dog, you might need to shave it. So make it make contact. I'm actually going to put it to, I usually go to like when I do it on my neck to show clients. Oh, do you see that? That was a 15. And this is, I don't know if you're going to get to see that it's a 15. But this is a TENS unit. If you've ever had physical therapy or know anybody that's a physical therapist, they have, watch the shoulder. Oh, no, now it's not doing it. Let me change it. You see that? It's pretty trippy. And it's kind of annoying. It makes me itch. So that was actually at a 17 now. So it needs to be snug and making contact with your dog. It can't be dangling like a choker over here, hanging down. That's not how it's designed. So make sure you get a good fit. All right, that's enough with this bit. Now we're going to go into the transmitter and how I use it with people. Oh, you can see it. Good. You can see it. I tell people that I only use the red button. This other button over here has a T on it. It's kind of like a tone, or really it's like vibrate. Here, let me put it on here. So do you hear that? So it's like old school when you just had a pager and it was in your pocket and somebody paid you and you jump, or even when you just had your phone on vibrate and it was the second time you've done that and you would jump. So I don't use that button, but that's what that T is. These two buttons, I'll explain a little bit more, but all I use is the red button. That's all we use is the red button and this dial, which takes the number. Shoot, you can't see it. But this dial, you could see me turning it. There's an LED screen here. Now that it's lit up, you can't see it, but it makes the number go from 0 to 100. All right. So those are the only two buttons I use. Not even buttons, one button and one dial. That's it. That's it. The other thing, I'm going to let that go off. The other thing you need to pay attention to is I tell the people it should be flashing 1D. No, I think you can see it. See how it's flashing 1D, which you don't need to know what that means, but it does mean, just in case you're curious, one dog. They also have some that say 2 dogs. But what you need to notice is that it's flashing. If it's ever not flashing, it's because you depressed this by accident. Oh, and now it's all on again. Sorry, you're going to have to wait till the little LED light goes off so you can see. And now it's just going to be 1D not flashing. There. Do you see how it's not flashing anymore? And I had a client once say, hey, I can't, every time I turn this, the number, it doesn't move up or down. And right now, because the light's on, you can't see it. It's because you held this down and you locked it out. So now I'm going to unlock it, let it turn back off. Sorry about this lag time. Hi, Dana. Doggy S and M. Love it. That's what it is. I should get the prong collar out next. Love you, Dana. Medana, where are you? Are you back from New York? Fun to see you here. All right. I'm going to get back to work. Dana, you're confusing me and distracting me. Anyway, now it's flashing 1D, so it needs to be flashing 1D. The M and the C, don't worry about it. I'll tell you what it means in a minute, but if you ever see it not saying M and C, it's going off again. It's because you push this little button on the back that says M and C. And now it just says M. So now you're just doing momentary. That's what M means. Don't worry about it. Don't worry what it means. I'm going to push it again. It's going to brighten up. And now it's just going to say C, and I'm going to push it again because now it's going to go back to M and C because I want to get back to where I can tell you what's happening. So let's see if you ever see anything but M and C. Press this button until you see both M and C. This is the on and off button for this and the light button. I'll come back to that in just a second. And here is the charging port for the transmitter. Same thing. This can be in the water for as long as you want, unless you don't have this pushed in all the way. So make sure that's pushed in all the way. So now that we're back to the front, it's flashing 1D, which means one dog. You don't have to remember that part. And it says M and C, not just M or not just C. M means momentary. You don't need to know that. C means continuous. You don't need to know that. But just in case you're curious. So now I'm going to show you why I don't use the black button and the red button. I only use the red button. The black button is momentary. You're going to see this and this illuminate for a half a second when I push this black button right here. Even if I holding, it just goes on for a second. Now, if I push the red button, holding, it's going to stay on for 10 seconds. And some people ask me, well, do you keep it on? Sometimes I do. Yeah. I want continuous pressure because they might be recalling. There, it went off after 10 seconds. I might say, you know, I'm going to be the dog, pretend I'm wearing it. And I'm also my voice. So I'll say, come, and the dogs, and then it's like, yes, and then I let it off. So see how I held it on when the dog was a little distracted? Come, yes, and then I let it off. That's how I use it. Eventually you get to where you just say, come, tap, and they're coming. So why I only use the red button is because I can have the continuous pressure if I want it, or with the red button, I can just tap it. So it's simple. One button, red button, continuous. Sometimes imagine holding the leash and you're pulling your dog into you. That's how long you would hold this down for. And sometimes you're just like, hey, get over here. And you just do a tap. Come, tap. And they're coming to you. You don't need to hold the pressure on. So simple. Red button only. Use the dial. You can't see the numbers, unfortunately, because the LED screen is lit up. Sorry about that. Find a number that works. It's never the lowest number. It's never the high. Oh, I never go above a 30. It's like, no. I mean, some dogs, low level is still a 50 because they're chasing an elk, you know, and that is what they need. I will tell people, I could say, hey, Cheryl, let's go when we're in a library. But if we're in a Vegas nightclub, hey, Cheryl, let's go. That's not going to cut it. I'm going to be like, Cheryl, we got to go, you know, loud. So it's the same thing. I'm not being mean, or that person to me is not being mean by saying, come on, we got to go. That's not mean. They're just trying to use a tone that's going to override the distraction of the Vegas nightclub. So if your dog works at a 5 in the house, but they're chasing an elk outside, they might be at a 55, but that's the same thing. It's still low level recall because you're just not just matching the distraction, but you're actually one-upping and overriding that distraction. So don't get caught on a number with your e-collar. It needs to be fluid. Dogs' minds are just, the world is fluid, right? Lots of distractions, big distractions, little distractions, big distractions, little distractions. So your dog's mind is doing the same thing up and down. Your e-collar needs to be just above that, but matching it, you know, not matching it, going above it. I often will tell clients, imagine you're sitting at the stop. You don't even know what's going on in your dog's mind half the time. You know, half the time we really don't. They're smelling something. We have no idea what they're smelling, but we're like, wow, that's intense. What's going on down there? But we just don't know. So imagine sitting in the car at the stoplight. You're just sitting there waiting for the light to turn. You got your favorite song on the radio. You're kind of chilled, or maybe it's like mellow. It's like easy listening 70 station, and it's just super mellow, and you're just like, ooh, okay. And then all of a sudden your phone beeps, beep, new message, beep, new message. So you kind of heightened up, and now the light's green, but you're like, oh, my phone. And you're like, I'm not going to pick it up. So you start driving, but your kind of distractive level went up a notch. And now you're driving along. You've kind of let the phone thing go, but you're driving, a little more heightened awareness. And now all of a sudden, holy crap, there's a cop behind me. Now you're like, whew, I'm up here. So that's how our minds work, you know, and that's how dogs' minds work. And that's how your e-collar needs to work. This number needs, like right now, this thing's at a 20. That 20 might be really high level for some dog in the house, but that 20 is not, that's the whisper in the church or the library. Come on, let's go. It ain't going to cut it when they're outside. So remember that with e-collar use. Do not get stuck on a number. Your dog's brain doesn't stay at the same intensity. It goes up and down. Keep that in mind. Don't forget. And once you get that under wraps, I don't even know half the time what number I'm on. I'm just going up and down and up and down, depending on what the dog is doing. And I'm holding the red button or tapping on the red button. That's it. Come, hold, hold, hold. They're coming to me. Great. Yay. Sit, tap. Down, tap. You know, down, tap. sit, tap, come, good, you know. So play with the red button with whether it's being continuous or a quick tap, and use this, and that's it. The last bit I want to talk about is how to turn it off and on, this part. So see this big button that says on, off, and light. So if I'm going to hold it, I'm holding, and now you're going to see it go off. Now I'm same big button, holding, and it goes on. And it does say ON right now, and when I turn it off, it says OF. If you tap this button, I'm just going to tap it now. Tap, lights on, tap, big lights on, tap, light goes off. So that's the other part of this that I like to tell people about. Super simple, folks. It's kind of like driving a car. You know, you don't go out for one lesson and then take the test 5 days later without practicing in between. You know, you got to take it out for a test run. I will sometimes put this on myself, or I'll just play with it. You know, I don't anymore, but I tell clients, just play with it, feel it, put it in your hands, you know, practice with it with the leash, do whatever you need to do, but don't worry, you're not going to mess up your dog. Don't go too high at first. Stay in low numbers if you're just kind of messing around with it on your dog. Actually, don't mess around with it on your dog. That's not what I mean. Like, back up. Teach them some obedience. Make sure they're bomber on their recall on a leash, and they understand what that means. Then add this to it. Find their low level, do it in the house, have the leash on. Here's the leash hand, here's the e-collar hand. Say come, apply both pressures, and when they're coming at you, let it off. And do it again. Come, both pressures, let it off. Come, both pressures, let it off. And then at some point, maybe after 20 or 50 times, you'll let this one go, but it's still there. You'll be holding it lightly, and you'll say, come. Ooh, they're not responding. Add this to it. Good. And then at some point, you'll say, come, and they're doing it, and you don't need this anymore, which is where you want to get to. And then eventually you get to compliance only, kind of jumping ahead, which means you say, come, dog doesn't come, go a little bit higher than normal and say, come, tap, and they're probably going to come. So that's just a quick intro, not even that quick because I'm 7 minutes past my time, but that's just a bit of an intro to how this works. If you have one sitting at home on the shelf, take it out, play with it, and then start practicing it on your dog. Do it in the house, low distraction area, use the leash, keep the leash on for a while. The leash teaches them the leash pressure teaches them what this stimulation means. You can't just put this on and start saying, come, come, come. It just doesn't work that way. It'd be like me saying, hugga-bugga, hugga-bugga. And then one time I say hugga-bugga and I actually reach out and I grab you and pull you toward me. And then I say hugga-bugga and I grab you and pull you toward me. You'd be like, oh, it looks like hugga-bugga means I should go with her. That's kind of what you're doing with this and the regular leash. And eventually that regular leash goes away because they know hugga-bugga means let's go or come this way. All right. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, put them on the comment section. I'll answer them next week. If you are interested in e-collar work, get one. E-collar Technologies, Larry Crone. He wrote a fantastic book on how to introduce it to your dog. You can get it on Amazon, super cheap. And that's it. I'm going to sign out. One more Tuesday Q&A next week, and then we're on the road. So it'll be a little bit more kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what it's going to be. It's going to be fun and different. So hopefully you'll tune in then as well. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye, everybody. Have a great week and weekend.